Taqbel l-ġurnata gvern imexxi mill-Partit Nazzjonalista wara l-kul bil-korruzzjoni? U kif taħseb li l-gvern qed jitratta ma' korruzzjoni? U kif taħseb li l-gvern għandu jitratta ma' korruzzjoni?
L-ewwel nies nixtieq ngħid li huwa faċilissimu li it's only too easy for one to blame a particular party for corruption. Corruption does exist in the government upon parliamentary level. I believe that. I believe that it does happen. I believe it manifests in many ways, such as, for example, the closing of the development zones a couple of years ago. The so-called closing off of these zones. In fact, I had attended a protest against it. Of course, people had attended the protest, had their protest ignored. But leaving that aside, more so than any particular party, I would say that it is a symptom of a situation where we have two parties. Again, they are too comfortable with each other's company. They are too comfortable with being in the position that they are. In fact, let's face it, if one were to look at the things that people criticize the nationalists for today, aren't they echoing the mistakes or the supposed mistakes that the previous Labour government committed, such as, for example, the rise in electricity prices and the increase in VAT? It's true that the Labour government called it something else, but that's beside the point. They are basically copying each other. Now, I'm hoping that it is just a coincidence, but I must admit, I'm one of those individuals who can be a little too, well, not too, I'm of the opinion right now that there is a possibility, I cannot prove it, but I do believe that the two parties are one in government. They play around to each other's desires. They oppose each other when desired, but when they want to get together, for some reason we have unanimous agreements. I have no idea why. So yes, corruption does exist, but I'd also say that it is not just the fault of any particular party, but the fault of a two-party system in particular.
Għalajta blok ta' sina, bħala student universitarju, mort suppost dibattitu li għamlu mexxejja ewlenija tal-pajjiż fl-università?
No, I had not attended, but I did, as I had other things that had to be done, I had to prepare for elections and such, but I have heard and read and watched a few things about that.
Taħseb l atteġġament huwa mistenni minn dak li suppost huma l-krema tal-krema tas-soċjetà Maltija li ġejjin?
The behavior that I witnessed on YouTube, for example, I can only describe as shocking. That was not a debate, it was not a conference, it was a shout-down at times, where you have the students basically mocking everybody out there. Now people know, well, I'm sure that people know that I'm not MLP, I'm not PN, I'm not A, and I'm not AD, but I seriously had sympathy for those individuals that were mocked on stage. I don't care what party they represent, but I do have sympathy for them because nobody should be deserved that way. Nobody deserves to be treated in that fashion, in my opinion.
Okay, wasalna fil-intervista. Biex għolta għadix komment tal-axħar dwar l-elezzjoni, kontestazzjoni tijak jew għal-kamata ġenerali?
Well, I'd like to return to the very beginning, well, almost the very beginning. I'd like to say that I do again believe that we require change in this country. We require change because things are not quite right. Hemm affarijiet li mhumiex kif suppost ikunu. U ma tantx hemm ħajra milli qed nara, milli qed nosserva mill-partiti l-kbar, mill-partiti li iż-żewġ partiti bażikament biex jibidlu s-sitwazzjoni. Huma daqsxejn closed. Anka individwi li jippruvaw jagħmlu bidla fihom infushom qed isibu diffikultà. Pereżempju, kien hemm xi MP u membru ta' partit kien minn għalija suġġerixxa dwar li jiġi that a bus service gets introduced from Birzabuja for the residents. He was jumped on. Now, I'm not saying that his views were above criticism. Imma mhux imbagħad you criticize the person for making those comments. That is not a sign of a free society. It is not a healthy society that jumps on people for expressing thoughts. I will not get into the justification or otherwise of his comments. And I will keep them. I would say that yes, there is actually a need for more vehicles to serve that particular route. He was right. There is actually a need for more vehicles because simply if a bus is full, you need more vehicles to serve it. It's very simple. But I do not feel that any person should be treated the way that person was. I don't even know his name, in fact. I don't remember which party it was, but I do remember that much. I don't care which party he's from, because I'm not a partisan person. I am not a person who works for any party. I work as per my ideals. It's very important to specify that. Dak li jiena nara li tkun ideali, li nemmen jiena, minix ngħid dak li jixtiequ jismgħu n-nies, nerġa' I'd like to again emphasize. Imma again, at least I can say that people know where I stand. People will know where I stand because I say exactly what I mean. And on this note, I'd like to finish, and I'd like to encourage people who would like change in this country to vote minority. You can vote within the parties. If you think that there is a change, you can vote within MLP or within PM, but keep in mind that those persons that you think that are worthy will have difficulty because they have to stay by the party line. Even easier, but there's no need to use it exclusively, vote for minorities, minority parties, AD, MLP, Alpha, MLP, that's MLP, okay, AN, Alpha, Imperial Europa, and individual candidates such as myself. But again, we do need change. It doesn't matter who you vote in, vote somebody in. Be the change.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.